Hey, Gopher fans, it's Mike Grimm from Gopher Radio and GopherSports.com, and welcome back. It's another edition of Gopher Talk. It's presented by Affinity Plus, committed to the safety of their members, their employees, and communities. During this time, you can learn more at affinityplus.org. We're talking Gopher Baseball here as we head toward the fall months. Chase Stanke is with us. He's a Golden Gopher who just finished his Northwoods League season playing for the Wilmer Stingers in the central portion of the state and had an unbelievable year in the Northwoods League. It seemed like every time I flipped on Twitter, he was hitting another home run or had a big base hit. Chase, good to see you. And how much fun did you have playing in the Northwoods League again?
It was a really good time. I think this spring, after we got cut short, was the first time I hadn't played ball in probably 10 or 12 years. So to get the shot to go back out on a baseball field and meet some new people was a very welcomed opportunity.
And for those that aren't totally familiar, the Northwoods League is a wood bat league that features some of the top college players from all over the country. And on a normal year, there are a bunch of teams in Minnesota, the Dakotas, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Michigan. This year, the schedule got shrunk a little bit. You guys are basically playing about the same three teams, right, every 3 or 4 nights. But you got games in, you got to hit the ball, you got to throw the ball, and that's better than sitting at home.
Oh, for sure. It was nice back home. I got to hit with my dad again and lift weights in my garage, but nothing beats the opportunity to go out and play and see some good competition. So it was, like I said, it was an awesome experience.
What was it like going through it, knowing that there were safety precautions? I think you guys had your temperature taken before each game. What other things did you guys have to go through to make sure that everyone was safe? I know Rochester hit a road bump. That team had to sit out for a week or two because they had a couple of positive tests. But otherwise, everything went pretty smoothly. What were things that you guys had to make sure you were keeping an eye on and making sure everyone was safe?
Yeah, so when we arrived in Wilmer, we had to go get tested right away. So we all had to make sure we had a negative test before the season could begin. So every day we showed up at the park, we'd do like a symptom screener. So you'd have to answer a bunch of questions if you had a cough, sore throat, general symptoms of COVID. Got your temperature taken. They had hand sanitizer everywhere. We were supposed to social distance in the dugout. We had pitchers sit in the bullpen when they normally wouldn't. Then we were on buses. We were wearing masks. We didn't travel everybody every trip in an attempt to kind of lessen the amount of people who were on the bus so that we could spread out some. So in a normal year, we have to do a bunch of community engagement activities, whether it's reading to kids or hosting kids camps. We didn't do those this year. So they took a lot of steps to keep us safe, and it worked out. So.
You mentioned that this first time in a long time you didn't have spring baseball, and of course the Gopher season got really cut short before it really got going. I know you played some games at the Viking Stadium, and I can't remember if you went on a trip or not. Maybe one, right?
Opening weekend, we went on the road, and that was it.
Yeah, and that was it. How hard was that? And two, what did you learn about how much you love the game when you couldn't play it?
Right. I think if anything, this spring was kind of an exercise in perspective. When you put as much time into the game as we all do for so long, and we've been doing this for 10, 12, 14 years, some of us since we were little, and to kind of have that taken away, you kind of have to step back and realize what's important. With people getting sick and people dying and with everything going on with the economy, for me, it was one of those things, like, I'm kind of grateful that the only thing I really had taken from me was the season. But it was different. We kind of felt like we were in a better place as a team, right, when the season got canceled. We didn't really know what was going on right away, whether, our season was suspended or canceled or what was going on. So it was different. We all had to go home, couldn't see, like, our best friends, our teammates for 2-3 months. So it's just one of those things that you had to learn a lot from it. You had to kind of, for me personally, it was finding out what I was interested in outside of baseball to kind of keep myself busy. But it was cool to spend time with my family and be back home for a little bit.
And then you got the call that the Northwoods League in early June was going to start. You're back to Wilmer. What's a day like? You mentioned, the safety precautions. So now you're limited a little bit. You play games, almost all of them, if not all of them, are at night. So how do you spend your days then? I mean, I know I would probably find my way to Green Lake if I were in Wilmer, if I could during the day, and maybe jet ski or fish or do
Right.
something.
Yeah, I didn't spend too much time out at Green Lake, although a bunch of our guys did actually. But for me, it was one of those things. The travel in the Northwoods League gets tough sometimes, so you're getting home late. And so I kind of emphasized, letting myself sleep in a little bit and recover. And then I'd wake up, make a good breakfast. We'd go to the field early for BP in Wilmer, so we did a lot of early work with the coaches on whatever you needed to. And then you kind of go home, eat again, and be back at the field and play. And then after the game, go work out and go get your lift in, keep your body healthy, and then go to sleep. And you kind of did it over and over again. And, it all kind of blends together, but it's really enjoyable when all you have to focus on is just baseball. So.
And how much better do you get playing against other top players? And then really that's what you're doing here for 6 or 8 weeks is batting practice, fielding practice, game work. How much better do you think you got because of your experience there now the last 2 years?
Yeah, I think you get exponentially better when you go out there and all you have to focus on is baseball. We put a lot of time in, obviously, all fall, winter, and spring, but you also have the external variables of school and all the other things that go about when you're on campus. So to be able to be somewhere in the summer where you can totally devote your time to baseball, it's a great opportunity to have. And the other cool part is you're around different coaches and you're around different players, some of which are much older and more experienced than me. So you pick up on different things, whether it's drills or approaches or just how they go about their business, that I think helped you develop as a player.
One of the unique things about the Northwoods League, and maybe not unique is the right word because all the teams do it, and even minor league teams, professional minor league teams do it. They have host families, so you basically stay with the family for the summer, and I suppose that kind of becomes your second family. What has that been like for you in creating a relationship with your host family?
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest parts about summer ball in general is you meet these families who open up their house to you and kind of take you in as a member of their family. So I stayed with the Gillespie family in Wilmer, and they've hosted former Gophers Eddie Estrada and Nick Lackney, guys who have been part of the Gopher Baseball program. So I was with them last summer and this summer, and it's just really cool to be around them. They're all very generous, with their time and by opening up their house to you. So I think that's the coolest part, and I stay in touch with them. They come out to go for games, and it's just cool to have like another family to go to in the summer.
Yeah, I know.
Home,
Back in the day, I have a friend who was in Alexandria, and they hosted when she was younger. They hosted kids. She said that her mom and dad still stay in touch with kids from 15, 18 years ago that would stay with them for those months, and that you just create kind of a bond.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, actually. One of the kids that my host family hosted a couple of years back just made his MLB debut over the summer for the Pittsburgh Pirates. So it's just cool. I hear stories from people they hosted 5-6 years ago that they still stay in contact with now. So it's just one of those things to always, I think baseball, the coolest part about it is the relationships you build as you go about playing. And so that's definitely just a wonderful aspect of summer ball.
Down to just about a minute left. Let me ask you about this Gopher team. Obviously, the season got cut short last year. As you get back, hopefully here soon to campus and get fall workouts going, let's keep our fingers crossed there'll be baseball in the spring. How good, let's say it goes, how good can this team be next year? I know you were hoping to contend for the Big Ten title this past spring.
Yeah, I mean, I think the sky's the limit for this group of guys. We're getting some guys back on this team that I don't think we would have in a normal year, just because of alterations to the draft. And we're very talented. But beyond that, I think kind of losing this spring and losing the opportunity to see how we could have done last year has kind of made guys hungry, and they want to go out there and they want to work and get better. And they miss the game and they miss competing, So I think when we get back on campus, we're going to have a lot of guys ready to go to work and ready to make themselves better. So I don't really think there's a limit to what we can do. So.
Well, very good. I know you had a great summer with the Wilmer Stingers. We're looking forward to a great spring. Let's keep our fingers crossed that you get to play some baseball and we all get to watch some baseball for the Gophers here in the spring. Thanks, Chase. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, great job, Chase Stanke from the Golden Gophers. Our Gopher Talk presented by Affinity Plus. So long.